Friday, May 8th, and you're watching the Hammer Daily here on the Hammer Betting Network, presented by our good friends over at FanDuel. I'm your host, Chase Cooper, alongside my producer for the next hour and a bit, Jacob Gramegna, working his way behind the boards. We got a great show for you today, an absolutely loaded show. Excited to get into things with you guys. Lot to go through. We got a loaded show. Andrew Gombas, batting leadoff, talking some UFC. Kirk Evans as well. I'm getting some feedback. There you go. Thank you. Awesome. All right. Gombas is batting leadoff right now, talking UFC. Got Kirk Evans coming on, talk some NBA and WNBA. And we're finally going to close out the show with G-Stack George with some hot NFL takes and some even better UFL bets. Incredibly excited to get into this fine Friday. There we go. We got the rundown on screen right there. UFC 328 this weekend is going to be a fun one. Jacob, don't worry about it. We're gonna breeze through this.
Rusty.
It's all good. We're rusty on the boards, but we're gonna forgive Jacob. Mike's got the day off. He's in Niagara. Hope he enjoys it. Excited to get into today's show. Quick reminder: if this is your first time here, smash the subscribe button. If you've been here before, smash the like button. Comment down below what you guys are betting on today. Curious to hear if you got anything for this weekend, whether it be for the UFC, NHL, NBA, anything. WNBA season opener today. Whatever you guys are betting on, I want to hear it. I want to know. I want to tell you guys. And you can also do so in our Discord as well. You can join our Discord, discord.gg/hammer. Before we get into today's show, though, oh my goodness. I need to know what Diana Rossini or Mike Vrabel did to somebody to get this absolute onslaught of just media attention and this slow play, this slow roll of just media pictures and affair pictures and all this stuff that's been coming out lately. I need to know who they pissed off, because they obviously pissed off somebody. The way that the media has been handling this situation is insane. It's insane. If this was just a massive news dump, happened for a weekend, I think it released a month ago, we would have forgotten about it by now. But no. Someone out there does not want us to forget about this. And I don't know why.
It does seem a little methodical.
It does. Absolutely.
Every week it's something new.
Yeah.
There's the boat thing. Then a few days later there's a video of the boat thing. And then it's
pictures of them at the bar together. Pictures of them doing media together.
Because the thing is, you feel like if somebody was sitting on these videos, as soon as the news breaks, they want to dump them. They want the clout. They want to send it to TMZ, whatever. The fact that it's getting every week something new, Jen, something fishy. It feels like it could be a slow play here.
It is definitely a slow play. I'm just waiting for what we're playing to. What is this building up to? I thought it was going to be done at the end of the before the draft. I thought we were going to get something the day of the draft and we're going to be over with. Either someone really wants Mike Vrabel out. I don't know what's happening here. Maybe this is all directed at Diana Rossini. I have no idea. I do know one thing. Feel bad for everyone else involved and who the situation they've put their spouses and families in. Feel really bad for Diana Rossini's husband, because not only is this stuff happening, basically you finding out your wife is having an affair over the social media. It's probably one of the worst things to go through. He's an executive at Shake Shack. Shake Shack stock drops 24% yesterday. We need to check in on him.
Buy the dip, buddy.
Is he okay?
Buy the dip. They just opened another one in Toronto.
That's crazy. Yeah. Listen,
not going well.
I might have to just to support him. Shake
Shack lunch today in support of
Shake Shack's lunch in support of Diana Rossini's husband. I absolutely love that. Also, if they didn't have Drake May as their quarterback, they should have traded for Deshaun Watson last week. That would have been the insane trifecta of owner, head coach, and quarterback. Anyways, got a great show for you guys today. Excited to get into things. Let's get on the rails. Before we do that, got to let you guys know about our good friends over at FanDuel, because this postseason on FanDuel, it's all about the boost, because on game day, game day means your chance to boost your bet and make every play pay off. That's right. All customers get a profit boost tonight. So every bucket counts just a little bit more. The pace is fast. The game never stops. And with FanDuel, you've got many more ways to make every win even bigger. So lock in your bets, boost your odds, and make every night count with FanDuel, an official sports betting partner of the NBA. Head over to FanDuel.com/forwardprogress to get started. Must be 21 plus and present in select states. For Kansas, the Phillies, Kansas, Arkansas, 18 plus, present in DC, Kentucky, or Wyoming. Opt-in required. Bonus issue is not withdrawable. Profit boost token. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Visit FanDuel.com/RG. Call 1-888-789-7777. Or visit ccpg.org/chat in Connecticut. Or visit mdgamblinghelp.org in Maryland. Hope is here. Visit gamblinghelplinema.org or call 1-800-327-5050 for 24/7 support in Massachusetts. Or call 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY in New York. All right. Excited to get into today's show. Before we get into things, quick reminder here. Smash the like button. We got our first guest. Excited to bring him on. I just realized I forgot to send him the list of notes, and I feel terrible. I guess I kind of lost in the shuffle, but I know he knows his UFC stuff, so I'm not afraid to throw. I know he's not afraid for me to throw some stuff at him here. Let's get into our first guest. He's a pro sports bettor and MMA originator. Big fan of New York sports. You can follow him on Twitter at Bets and Picks MMA. Andrew Gombas, how's it going?
What's going on, my man? How are you?
I'm good. It's good to talk to you. Hope you've been doing well. I'm excited to get into UFC 328. We got a great stacked card for us here this week. Before that, though, we are just over a month out from UFC Freedom. UFC Freedom 250, which I don't understand where the 250 comes from. Maybe you can help shed some light on that. Set for June 14th. As it stands right now, looking at the card, what do you make of it? Give me a rating for it pre-fight out of 10.
To 250s, that's how old the United States is turning. That'll be the United States' 250th birthday. Out of 10, I would say an 8. I think they hyped it up a lot with saying I think Trump at one point said every fight was going to be a title fight. I mean, he just doesn't know, but everyone had these massive expectations, and it's a real. I think if they didn't set the stage with that, people would be really happy with the card. But because they kind of were like, oh, every fight's going to be a title fight, this and that, people just are kind of shitting on the card. But I think it's pretty good on paper. 8 out of 10. Like if this was a normal pay-per-view card, everyone would be pretty excited. I think Taporia's probably like pound for pound number 1 or number 2 in the sport. Pereira is trying to be the first triple champ of all time against Gon. Sean O'Malley, one of the bigger stars in the UFC. Josh Hokett, who just became a star overnight, fighting Derek Lewis, who's a fan favorite. So it's pretty solid. It's going to be. I think it's a special event, and will be a special event.
Yeah, it's gonna be a lot of fun. My only gripe is like, why are we doing this on I guess why are we doing this on a Sunday? Is that like the official birthday of the United States? Is that why? Like, am I just my American history is just awful? Like, what's the purpose of this being on a Sunday versus Saturday?
I think it's because I think it's for 2 reasons. I'm not 100% sure, but I think because it's outside, the fight's being during the day, and also that Sunday is Trump's birthday.
Sorry, that's just I love this. Is hilarious.
No, I could be wrong about that. I just that's what I think.
Yeah, no, listen, that makes perfect sense. I just think it's like the fact that just the Sunday kind of threw me off. I was like really excited to watch this on a Saturday, but Sunday, I guess I'll just be with the buddies watching this on the Sunday. Anyways, let's get into this week's card because we got a lot to talk about for this one. Especially, let's start with like the main event. It's gonna be a great fight: Khamzat Chimaev versus Sean Strickland. Great fight in the sense that we might only last like 26 to like 30 seconds. Khamzat Chimaev minus 590 right now versus Sean Strickland. Super defensive fighter in Sean Strickland, but it sounds like Chimaev is like has the massive edge here. Much better wrestler, probably better hands as well. At minus 590, is it crazy to say that this price is like short on Chimaev? Like, just I did a quick like odds conversion. That's 85% for Chimaev to win. Like the path to victory. What's Sean's path to victory? In my head, it's like an injury to Chimaev. That's about it.
Sean's path to victory is extending the fight and putting up enough resistance early on to make Chimaev work and get him tired later in the fight. Like if you look at the Dreykus fight with Chimaev, he just took him down over and over and over, had no issue. So he was able to do it for 5 rounds, in his sleep. So Strickland's going to need to make Chimaev work early. If the takedowns come super easy, it's going to be a rough night for him. He might even get finished early. So he's going to have a storm to weather in that first round. Definitely the first and second. But if he could survive that and make Chimaev work in the process, he has a chance. I just think Chimaev is so good and so strong that there's a very good chance he finishes the fight early.
Yeah. If you had to guess, gun to your head, is this like a Chimaev by submission, Chimaev by knockout? What do you think?
Yeah, I would say submission.
All right, there we go. A pat on the back for me. We talked about it last show, gave it out. Let's get into our next fight here. We got Josh Van taking on Tatsuro Taira. Josh Van's like kind of getting the reputation of a paper champ. He kind of won the belt in, I don't know, I want to say like nefarious means, but the Pantoja broken arm 26 seconds in. It's kind of tough to like call yourself a champion with that. Tatsuro Taira, youngster, 26 years old, coming up. Break down this fight for us here. Taira, the challenger, is the favorite in this one. Talk us through this fight.
Yeah, it's a really good matchup on paper because you have Tyra, who's big for the division. He's good everywhere, but where he really excels is in the grappling department. And Van's more of a striker. He has great volume, good power for the division, good cardio, good output. So where this fight takes place is going to tell a lot of the story here. I tend to think Tyra gets his chances on top. And I think Tyra is a decent wrestler, but I don't think he's a great wrestler. Where he excels is once the fight already hits the mat. So if Van's able to keep it upright, he's going to give Tyra a lot of problems. But if not, I think he's going to be in danger every time the fight hits the ground. So that's what makes it a really interesting fight. I think Tyra will eventually get takedowns going. I don't know if it'll happen right away, but I think he's the rightful favorite here.
All right, looking at the rest of the main card, we got a fun bunch of action. We got a heavyweight fight between Cortez Acosta and Volkov. Cortez Acosta, 3 knockouts in a row in his last 3 fights. And we have Sean Brady versus Joaquin Buckley. Sean Brady minus 170-ish favorite there. Seems pretty reliable with his wrestling abilities. Then we got King Green against Jeremy Stephens, which will for sure be a big throwdown. Will likely end in fireworks. Will likely end with these two guys throwing hands. Break down the rest of this main card here. If you have any favorite bets, talk us through that.
Yeah, Buckley Brady is an interesting one, kind of similar to Tyra Van, where I said that Tyra is a decent wrestler, but not a great wrestler, but it really excels on the mat. I would say the same about Sean Brady. We saw Buckley get grappled by Kamaru Usman. The difference between Usman and Brady is Usman's a better wrestler than Brady, but Brady's better on the mat. So really interesting dynamic there. And also, I don't think Brady could hold his own in the standing like Usman could, but he's just so strong and he's such a good grappler. And I do think Buckley could be exposed there. I think Brady gets it done. Stephens, I think it needs a KO to win. I think Bobby Green's going to win minutes here. I think he's, a deserved big favorite. He's way better defensively, good output, good cardio. And then Cortez Acosta versus Volkov, good heavyweight fight. I'm personally really torn here. I don't know. I had trouble figuring out what the right number should be. On one hand, you feel like Acosta could kind of get his volume game going on the feet against Volkov, like he couldn't against Pavlovich. But then you could make the case of they have a common opponent in Pavlovich. Both fought very recently, and Volkov very much outperformed Acosta there. So I could see a case for both sides. I think it likely ends up being a pretty close fight. So that's the whole main card, right? Those 5.
Yeah, Green, Stephens, Brady, Buckley, and Volkov, Acosta. Quickly on Brady, Buckley, did you have a lean there?
I lean Brady. I haven't played it personally, but I think once it gets below so far it's been mostly Buckley money. I think if it gets below a certain point, I'll probably enter, but not rushing to do so at this price.
All right, let's flip over and talk prelims here quickly. Any one of these fights on the prelims sticking out to you? Anyone that you've either liked to bet on, want to bet on, or waiting for a certain number to bet on? Or is there one you're just watching out of just pure interest, looking for something for maybe the next time a fighter fights? Is there anything you're looking at, whether betting-wise or just trying to learn more about a fighter?
Yeah, I'll say 2. I think Ochoa Carpenter, which is the first fight of the night, is a really interesting one because Ochoa seems to have some real special talent on the feet, but he has a deficiency in the grappling, and it seems like Carpenter potentially could get takedowns, but Ochoa threatens off of his back, and he has a motor on him, so it's a really interesting dynamic. Ochoa being like a minus 175 favorite, I think is wide, just given the fact that Carpenter potentially could get takedowns. That being said, Carpenter's not inept on the feet either. He's capable there, but I definitely favor Ochoa standing. What's really going to be interesting is Almabayev was taking down Ochoa over and over, but he's not as good on top as Carpenter. So it's like if Carpenter can get takedowns, I think he could likely turn that into back takes and spend more time on top. But I think he's going to struggle to get takedowns because of, or I shouldn't say struggle to get takedowns. I don't think they'll come as easily as they did in the Almabayev fight. So just an all-around interesting dynamic there. I think it's dog or pass. And then Amosov versus Alvarez is a super interesting fight because Amosov's a really strong grappler on top, and Joel Alvarez always threatens submissions off of his back. Alvarez, no question, is the better striker here, but he doesn't have great takedown defense, and he kind of welcomes those grappling exchanges even from bottom. So it's going to be really interesting to see I almost feel like it's inevitable that Amosov is going to get a takedown, and then what happens from there is going to be really interesting.
All right. Finally, to close it out, if you had one bet to bet on an underdog right now, if you had to pick one underdog to win, who would it be and why?
Clayton Carpenter, because he has a good ceiling with his grappling upside.
All right, Clayton Carpenter plus 152 is your dog that you're looking at here. Before you head out here, got a question from the chat. Foxhole guy asking, what price would you be looking for Brady to beat Buckley?
I would really like minus 135. I think would be entering point. There's like minus 150s out there right now. I don't know if it's ever going to get there, but we'll see. I mean, so far it's coming a lot, so I could see it coming in a bit more.
If you were to bet the main event, would you be waiting for anything in particular, whether it be like if you want Strickland, would you bet it now or would you wait till close? And then the same question for Chimaev. Where do you think that line is going to move towards closer to the fight, or do you think there's no movement? It is what it is right now.
I think it most likely is what it is right now. It's one of those spots where with a big favorite like this, there's not going to be too much. There's not going to be too much movement, and even if there is, like a minus 550 to minus 510 isn't as big of a move as minus 150 to minus 110.
Yeah, I think UFC is one of the few sports where like public money might affect the line a little bit more with so many people piling, and just like the public sentiment around Sean Strickland seems like, at least from my friend groups, I'm just hearing a lot of people like, wow, Sean Strickland this short in a fight, like maybe the casuals will be piling on, but maybe not. Anyways, any final thoughts before you head out? What's one thing you want to see on this card? What's one thing you're looking for on this card? What's one takeaway you want from this card?
Yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to seeing a lot of these striker versus grappler fights. It's very rare that you see like this binary of a fight so often on a card. Like I can't remember the last time that there was just like over and over and over striker versus grappler. Like it starts with Carpenter and Ochoa in the first fight, Gomi Sabatini, Dawson Rebecki, Brady Buckley, Tyra Van, and ends with Chimaev Strickland. So that to me is the story of this card. And it's not like Chimaev on paper is kind of obvious given the fact that he's such a big favorite, but the rest of them are all pretty competitive. Typically when you get a dynamic like that, it's like, okay, one's way better than the rest. The line might be minus 400, but a lot of these are competitively lined in spots where I personally am not super confident of what's going to happen.
Yeah, a lot of these fights are around like the minus 170 to minus 150 range. So this seems like it's going to be a great card altogether. UFC 328 is going to be awesome. Andrew, appreciate you joining the show. You can follow Andrew on Twitter at BetsandPicksMMA. Andrew, thanks for joining the show. We'll chat soon.
Thanks, guys. Take care.
Great stuff there from Andrew Gombas. As always, reminder, you can follow him on Twitter, BetsandPicksMMA. Link is in the description down below. I'm excited for this weekend. And shout out to the crew. Hope you guys picked up Chimaev by submission plus 105, which was one of the better prices in market. I haven't even checked if it moved. I want to check quickly if it did move. It's plus 100 right now. We got plus 105. There we go. That's CLV. We love that, chat. We love that. Because if you've been tailing me recently, you know that it's been a rough week. Anyways.
As bad as your week's been, it hasn't been as bad
as
Diana Ricci's husband.
Yeah, wow.
No, it's definitely worse on the husband.
Oh, for sure. Feel bad for him. Anyways, you see how quickly I pulled up that Chimaev submission win? That was quick, eh?
Good.
You know how I did that? I did that I did that using BetStamp Pro, because if you're still toggling between sportsbook tabs trying to find the best number, you're giving up your edge before you even place the bet. BetStamp Pro pulls real-time odds from over 200 sportsbooks, regulated offshore PPHs, exchanges, and prediction markets, all on one screen with sub-second latency. But the real advantage is BetStamp's True Line, a proprietary algorithm that doesn't just aggregates the sharpest books to calculate what real numbers should be. You're not just seeing odds, you're seeing where their edges actually are. Sort by EV, filter by hold, and identify off-market lines the second that they appear. This is the same tool professional bettors use to scale their profits. Head over to betstamp.com/hammer to get a free 14-day trial to see the full main market screen for yourself. Link in the description down below, or scan the QR code on screen. That's betsimp.com/hammer. All right. I talked about my woes this past week. Hopefully you guys have been fading me. And if it's been a bad week and it's been a fading show, we're closing it out this Friday with one of the best fades on the entire channel. He's a big NBA fan, a bigger WNBA fan. He swears he's not a performative male, but he bought season tickets for the inaugural Toronto Tempo WNBA season. I would call that pretty performative. Kirk Evans, how's it going?
I'm really blurry, but I don't know why. But that is just an egregious comment that's performant. I don't honestly not sure you know what that word means.
No, it's just like in the context of like you're a performative male. I see you on walking on Ossington with a tote bag. This is like very Toronto coded, but like that's just you. You probably got a matcha latte, like you got wired headphones in. It's
a good, like, you using the word performative is like a good sign that the word has gone way overboard and is like completely overused. Also, like, me buying season tickets is the opposite of performative. I'm actually spending my time in doing it. I'm not just saying that I'm a big fan, but not, going to the games, following the team. Like, that's literally the opposite of performative.
All right, whatever helps you sleep at night. Enjoy your Claro in your wired headphones, all that stuff. Derek in the chat saying even your camera is fading you today.
Yeah, what is going on there?
It seems like it's getting a little better.
It's like literally perfect when like I'm like in my preview or click on my camera or am in any other meeting. But when I'm on this show, this is what we got.
Maybe you got too many tabs open in the background. Maybe BetSamp Pro open. Whatever. We'll stick through it. You sound fine. I want to get into today's show. You wanted to talk mostly WNBA, but I'm going to force you to talk some NBA quickly. If you have no opinion, that's fine. Just want to hear your thoughts. Seems like James Harden has sucked throughout this playoffs, which is like, tell me if you've heard that before. Talk me through his issues. Do you still believe in the Cavs? Is it because like the Detroit all of a sudden has some of like the best strip clubs in the world? What's going on with James Harden?
I don't think Detroit has the best strip clubs in the world, but you can ask Joey K on that one. He'd be a bigger expert. Yeah, Harden's really struggled. I honestly kind of think the Cavs come back and win this series. Okay. Obviously, that's not like a betting take. That's more of a monkey brain take. But I do think I'm not like they lost like kind of two close games yesterday, got a lot of really bad shooting luck. I don't think that they're dead by any means. And yeah, I think they could win the conference. I don't think any of these teams are that good. I think the Knicks are the favorite, which makes sense. But yeah, either of these teams coming out could win the conference for sure.
Yeah, you think Cavs and Pistons, you think of those two teams, they're more likely to win the conference, whoever comes out?
No, I think the Knicks are more likely, but I think that, like, I just think there's been a lot of negative reaction to Cleveland. They've played two close games and lost two kind of coin flippy games at home. Or on the road. I'm just not writing the Cavs off. Obviously, it hasn't been a super impressive playoffs, but I'm still not writing them off.
Chat saying Cavs are dead. Chat saying Cavs are not good. Kirk first chat. Tale as old as time. Let's quickly talk about the Lakers and the Thunder. Do you think the Lakers can win one game, or is it just like, no, get us to the next? Just get us to OKC to the next round, and then we'll move on from there.
Yeah.
All right. Two games tonight. Knicks, Sixers, Spurs, Timberwolves. Knicks looking to sweep right now. Embiid, it seems like he's playing. Correct me if I'm wrong here. Is he playing tonight?
Hasn't been announced. He's questionable. Market definitely thinks he's playing, and OG is going to miss. I would agree, but I think maybe market's being a bit too certain. This is Joel Embiid. Anything can happen.
All right. So if guns to your head right now, if you had to pick someone to win this game, would you take the Knicks at plus 104 and trying to kind of take like the asymmetric risk of Embiid? Like, it seems like it won't move that much if Embiid's in, and then Embiid not being in, you're probably going to get some great CLV on it.
Yeah, I do. I actually probably agree with you there. At these prices, I'd probably be taking the Knicks, but not like a hard take by any means. I think it moves a little if Joel's in and a lot if Joel's out. And I think Joel's probably going to play, but it's Joel Embiid. You can't be that sure.
All right. Last game tonight, Spurs, Timberwolves. Game 1, we saw a completely different side of the Spurs than we saw in Game 2. Same thing can go for the Timberwolves. What do you make of this game here? Spurs right now minus 200 on the road, minus 4.5 spread. Talk me through this game.
Yeah, I think this game is kind of like the decider if this will be a competitive series or not. Minnesota won that first game, kind of snuck it out. It was a really impressive win, but tonight is kind of the game of is Ant actually healthy? I imagine he's going to start, and they're going to try upping his minutes and see if he can be actually Ant, and if Minnesota can kind of be the team that they were, or are they just Ant is a shell of himself and they're so shallow and it's going to be a 4-1 uncompetitive series.
All right. That wraps up NBA talk. Let's get into the WNBA here. I know you're going to get a little bit more excited about this. 3 games tonight. You tell me where you want to start here. Do you want to talk through the games?
Let's just go game by game. I'll have some plays, some props.
Love it. Let's start with the Connecticut Sun against the New York Liberty. Connecticut Sun on their Sunset Tour. Last time they're going to be playing in Connecticut. They're going to be, I believe, moving to Dallas or somewhere in Houston, somewhere in
Texas.
Texas.
Team in Dallas. Come on.
My bad. I'm sorry. My American geography is 0 out of 10.
That's not how geography works. But okay.
There could be 2 teams in the same city. We've seen that in multiple sports.
There's 15 teams in the W. They're not going to add a second team to Dallas.
All right. Dallas is a very progressive city, okay? Connecticut Sun, New York Liberty. Break down this game here. Liberty
Not sure how we got to there.
Liberty minus 10.5, totals at 159.5. Any opinion on the side or total? If not, talk through some props.
Yeah, absolutely. So this is a fascinating game. The start to the WNBA season is betting it is, I would say, absolute madness this year. So the Liberty have 8 players, maybe 9 actually. I think they signed 2 hardships, but they signed 2 of the players today, including Julie Van Loo, who's the only true point guard on the roster right now. So this is a fascinating game for the first game of the season. Obviously, the Liberty's top-end talent with Stewie and Jonquel and even Benijah Laney are much better players than anyone Connecticut has. But Benijah Laney is off a knee surgery last year. Typically, they don't love running. Stewie, 36 minutes. Jonquel especially has been limited to start some seasons. I've bet a lot on Connecticut. The line has moved quite a bit. I would still, on FanDuel, take the 10.5 here. The fact that they have to sign 2 players to hardship exemptions, have 5 players probably play tonight who typically wouldn't be in their rotation. Maybe 5's a little bit of a boost, but they're missing Satu Sabali, Sabrina Ionescu, Rebecca Allen, Leo Feibach. Those are 4 rotation players, and they don't really have much depth. So, yeah, at 10.5, I'm honestly still buying Connecticut. Even though I think New York is by far the best team in the league when they're fully healthy, they are very, very far from fully healthy. But yeah, it's hard to evaluate what that means when it's the first game of a season. Teams are not very often this injured in a first game of a season. Connecticut is also missing some players, including their best player. But I think that their units without, both of Jonquel, I wonder if there's even 1 minute without Jonquel or Stewie on the court, but that is a pretty rough team. I imagine Benijah Laney is also not going to play, huge minutes coming off a full missed season with a knee injury. So it'll be very interesting. The Liberty depth bench, who now a lot of the players have been cut, to be fair, got absolutely roasted by Indiana in the preseason, lost by 30. So yeah, I have bet Connecticut. I would still take Connecticut at the FanDuel number here.
Yeah, 10.5 minus 114, one of the better prices in market out there. A lot of 120s, a lot of 117s. So that 114 plus 10.5, now it's 115. There we go. So apparently not the fade god. Moved it 1 cent. Good job, Kirk. 10.5 minus 115. Any opinion on player props in this game? It sounds like the Liberty are going to be limited in terms of who's going to play. Is that going to lead you to take some overs on some bench players. Chad is asking for a 2-leg SGP. So consider that. It doesn't have to be in this game, but there is a 100% profit boost on FanDuel for a WNBA 2-leg SGP. So let's try and consider that here. If we don't have to force it for this game, if you have one for another game, we'll do that. But any player props here?
I don't hate it. I don't hate it. We can do it.
Okay.
Let's go. Jonquel Jones double with Sanaya Rivers over 9.5 points plus 288. I like that a lot. I think Jonquel is going to play a lot of minutes tonight, and typically her props are a bit lower because she isn't a huge minute player, but for them to win this game, she's just going to have to play more than I think they would like her to. And Sanaya Rivers, coming into her second year, she is a bit of an offensive, she's not super talented offensively, but I think they're probably going to start her at point guard or play her a bunch at point guard. They're down a bunch of guards as well. And I think she averaged 8.5 points in 27 minutes last year. I think she's going to play more, and she's now a second-year player, should have some improvement. So yeah, I like that. 100% profit boost makes it even better.
All right, plus 288. You get the 100% profit boost token on that. Should be a fun one. Let's move over to the game that you will be attending tonight, or I assume you're attending tonight. If not, let me get those tickets. Mystics at Toronto Tempo. Tempo minus 104 on the money line as their season opens, as they're play their first game in franchise history against the Mystics here. Any opinion on this game? Do you think this Tempo team, this brand new Tempo team, can keep up with the Mystics? Talk me through this.
Yeah, another honestly fascinating game. We have not seen the Tempo play, obviously, other than preseason, but most of the players actually were kind of out in the preseason for the Tempo. Washington is also a pretty fascinating roster. So the way I would break this game down is Washington's top-end talent is just very clearly better than the Tempo. I would say Citron and Kiki Irfan project to be the two best players in this game for sure. I think the best player on the Tempo is very debatable. I would probably say it's Temi Fagbenle. Most people would tell you it's Sykes or Mabry. But the Mystics, I believe, will be playing 4 rookies, maybe 5 rookies in their rotation. They are very shallow. This is going to be a lot of their... a bunch of them played in the preseason, but Shakira Austin didn't play in the preseason. So yeah, I think their average years of service in the league is under 1 with their rotation players. So that's a pretty wild stat. So really, we don't know much about either of these teams. I also do think, to some degree, the Tempo playing their first home game, it's going to be absolutely crazy and sold out. Even I went to the preseason game. The crowd was really crazy, and I think it'll be even much more here. So I think that's worth something. Mira Sabally is questionable. I think she's going to play. I would definitely not bet the Tempo if she doesn't play, but Tempo's definitely I have these games very, very close. So Washington being the favorite with the Tempo being at home, I disagree with. So it's tight. This is definitely the tightest play, but I would bet the Tempo if I were to take a side.
Tempo minus 104 on the money line, plus 1.5 if you want is minus 120, but it sounds like you should probably take the money line there instead of the plus 1.5. Same question as before. If people haven't used their 100% profit boost token yet, SGP profit boost token, any SGP you like in this game or any player props you like in this game?
So no SGP, but I would take Shakira Austin under 8.5 rebounds, minus 158. Yeah, I just think this line's a bit too high. They don't like getting her minutes too up, so I don't think she's going to play over 30. So she didn't play in the preseason, so there's some chance she actually only plays 23 minutes. And they just have a lot of rebounding on this team. Lauren Betts, 4th overall pick, 6'7" center out of UCLA. She's a monster. And then Kiki Irfan, like I said, she ended the season rebounding the hell out of the ball. So They have a lot of rebounding, and I don't think Shakira quite gets the minutes for this high of a rebound projection.
Quickly, shout out to the chat. J Dom, I can't see it. J Don 13. Sabali just got upgraded to available.
Things we love to see.
All right, let's move on to the final game here. We got what's the last game? There we go. Golden State Valkyries versus the Seattle Storm. Valkyries minus 220 on the money line, minus 5.5 spread, minus 105 for the Valkyries. Totals at 156.5. Take us break down this last game for us here before you head out.
Absolutely. So the Valkyrie yesterday lost Alana Rupert she's pregnant, so she'll be out for the season. I think it's a huge loss for this team. I'm actually nowhere close to this spread. I'm very confused as to why people are so, I guess maybe not very confused, but I just completely disagree that people are so high on the Valks here. Yeah, they had a great season last year. They weren't, 30 and 14. They were like around a 500 team. They got Gabby Williams, who she is a good player. She's a stud defender. I think this team lacks offense, not defense. I think she'll be additive, but I'm not sure that they're like clearly the best defense in the league. And I don't really see how they're even like close to an above average offense. And they're going to start Kia Stokes, who is, I think, out of the 167th ranked players I had for the WNBA, I had her 166. She is one of the worst players in the league, and they don't have a big behind her. So they're going to have to play small. And it's also tough with Seattle having Dominique Malunga, who is probably the best prospect in the WNBA, depending on how you define a prospect. She ended the season as like maybe Seattle's best player in the playoffs as a 19-year-old with the team having 5 All-Stars. I don't know how many minutes they're going to be willing to play Dom, but I think she's very clearly the best player in this game per minute. So yeah, this being in Seattle, I definitely think is worse than Golden State. Don't get me wrong, but this would imply 7.5 points worse. There's just no way I could justify and get to that number. So yeah, Seattle plus 5.5. That's what I'm taking here.
Seattle plus 5.5 minus 115. You mentioned, let me just pronounce her name correctly here, Ileana Rupert, missing the season because she's pregnant. Tough bounce for the team. Obviously happy for her, but I don't know if you saw this tweet. Some guy, DC Bets on Twitter, better to be the most improved player yesterday, and she announced she was pregnant the next day. Is that one of the worst beats ever?
That is really funny. Yeah, I actually think that was probably a pretty good bet.
Tough bounce for him. Obviously happy for her, though. Hope everything goes well with her pregnancy. Any prop bets for today before you head out?
No, I think that's all I got.
All right, quick recap there. Seattle plus 5.5 minus 115. Tempo minus 104. Shakira Austin under 8.5 rebounds minus 158. Connecticut plus 10.5 minus 112. Jonquel Jones double combined with Sanea Rivers over 9.5 points at plus 288. Use your 100% profit boost token on FanDuel on that. Those 2 legs. And yeah, Kirk, before you head out, any futures you want to fire away, or if you don't want to fire any futures, because we've been firing futures all throughout the offseason here on the show, on the WNBA. Anything you're like paying attention to now with like the 2 expansion teams coming in, teams being, I guess, watered down, or depth being watered down a little bit in the WNBA. Anything you're looking forward to or looking to take away from these first couple of days of WNBA games?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of injuries coming into the league, coming into the season, which is kind of rare. Normally the W doesn't have nearly as many injuries, and like people still being overseas. And yeah, the depth of the league is obviously really like the Liberty would have the best starters and the best bench. That kind of can't really exist anymore with the new cap and all these expansion teams. So for sure, I think seeing, just tracking the injuries, how these depth units look, I think that is an interesting question. And also, like, I think you'll be, if you're betting this league, like, be very willing to change your opinion very quickly. I honestly think we know nothing about most of these teams.
Yeah, that's some of the best part about betting the WNBA, in my opinion. Betting a sport like this, where we have like this new thing, the new teams coming in and add just like a new element to the mix, which is going to be hard for books to price and better for us as bettors to take advantage of. So I always love talking about this stuff, especially with these new expansion teams. Should be fun if the NBA ever gets their expansion situation going
Coming
as well.
soon.
Yeah? All right. Should be fun. Should be fun. Kirk, appreciate you joining the show. If you want to grab a pint before the Tempo game, let me know. I'm around the corner here in Liberty. You're probably going to say no, but obviously I thought I'd extend the invite. Anyways, enjoy the Tempo game tonight. All the best. Appreciate you coming on.
Wait, sorry, what did you say?
You want to grab a pint at like Liberty before the game?
Oh, no.
There you go. All right. You can follow Kirk on Twitter at KirkEvans0. Kirk, appreciate you joining the show and enjoy the game tonight. All right, great stuff there from Kirk. Just pieces the fuck out. I actually got to chill out with my with that the language here, because I don't know if the chat knows this. I don't know if maybe people got a pop up for yesterday's video, but apparently yesterday's video got like restricted to 18 plus. I don't know why. That's the first time it's ever happened on the channel. We had freaking GRP on here talking to like some random 23-year-old girl golfing, telling him he'd pay her anything to learn lessons from her, which is like absolutely insane. So I don't know how we got there. Anyways, George is telling me not to mention that. Hey, it's there. What are we gonna do? We can't hide from it. Our third and final guest of the show is the inaugural fantasy winner. He's a big tape grinder, big UFL fan, and someone who's going to rate my spicy takes, which I cannot wait to get into. And I want the chat to play along with this game as well. George, how's it going?
I'm doing well, Jason. Nothing brings a smile on Kirk's face like when he's talking about the WNBA. I don't think it's performative at all. I just think Kirk is a diehard basketball fan.
Yep.
And in any format he can get it, he loves it.
All right. No, I think you're right there. I just wanted to jab him a little bit about the performative male stuff. It's just... Yeah.
Like me, last week, Kentucky Derby's on, NBA playoffs, NHL playoffs, and I was most looking forward to some UFL action.
Yeah,
I'm a diehard football fan.
Diehard football fan through and through. Well, you're a diehard football fan. We got the NFL season quite a ways away, but I wanted to talk a little bit about NFL. You wanted to talk some NFL as well. We wanted to cook up some spicy takes. So Twitter handle is @takesbyjay. We're gonna call this segment "Rate My Takes." Rate the takes by Jay. I don't know what we're going to call it. I'm going to give you some bold takes in the NFL, and you're going to have to react to it in real time, George. You're going to have to give me a hot take, which is either you like it or you somewhat agree with it. Cold take, you hate it or you disagree with. Or Captain Obvious, why are you even telling me this? This isn't a take. Like, this is just what the general consensus is.
Yeah, like if you were to say, Drake May is top 10 quarterback, I'd be like Captain Obvious here.
Mm-hmm. All right. I got 6 cooked up for us right here. The last one I kind of just threw in here because I've been thinking about it based off vibes that are just going back and forth on it. And I think it's actually one of the spiciest ones of all these. So you're going to want to stick around for the last one.
You know why I'm excited for this? Because on Monday mornings during the football season when I'd come in, you'd come out with like your takeaway of the weekend, and almost 8 out of 10 times I'm like, this is an insane take that nobody else has.
I think part of that is because I get data points. Right now there's no data points, so I feel like it's hard for me to come out with like some crazy takes. I kind of dug a little bit deep in here, and some of them might not be hot. Some of them I think are pretty hot takes. We'll see. We have 3 or 4, we'll call it, team level takes, and then we got 1, 2, 3, 4. I think I have 7 takes. Wow, I don't know how to count. We got 3 or 4 team level takes, and we got 3 or 4 like sort of player level takes, and one of them isn't as spicy as the other. One of them is super spicy. You can actually bet on it 55-1. So yeah. Anyways, let's start with this here. First take I have: for the third time in 4 years, the Chiefs will finish outside the top 10 in offensive EPA per play. We're going to use RBSDM as that as their EPA per play for this. The only time they finished within the top 10 over the last 4 years was they were 9th. So Chiefs offense outside the top 10 in offensive EPA per play. George, hot take, cold take, Captain Obvious.
No, I think that's a hot take. I'll tell you why. I was surprised how little they went to improve their offense. I mean, their only real moves of note is bringing in Eric Bieniemy as offensive coordinator, and they signed Kenneth Walker. But Like the rest of their draft, their first 4 picks, all defensive players. Their other free agent signings, Tonga, Cater Kou, Alohi Gilman, all defensive players. It feels like they really wanted to fix their defense. And I don't know that I like the state of their O-line heading into next year. So I still think they're going to be, but it's a hot take because it's intriguing. I don't think I think it can be at least in the conversation.
Yeah, I think the way we think about this Chiefs team is like it's just we haven't seen it over the last 3 or 4 years. They're like it could be the factor of Andy Reid maybe. I don't want to say falling out of favor or losing his offensive touch, but it's just they're not the firepower that they once were like 5-6 years ago. We have enough data points now, and they haven't improved their offense enough for us to say, okay, this team is a top 5 EPA team.
So he said something, and I'm curious to run it by you. He said yesterday that because of Xavier Worthy's injury that he had early in the year, they weren't able to utilize him the way they wanted to all year, maybe protecting his shoulder.
Okay.
Especially because Rice's constant suspensions.
Yeah.
I'm curious if you still believe in Xavier Worthy. You're a fantasy guy. Do you want any Xavier Worthy stock? Or are you out on him as a thing?
Oh, it depends on the price. I haven't really looked at the price of where he would be at right now, where he would be ranked in the other wide receivers around him.
Do you believe in his ceiling case anymore?
It's just hard with Rashee Rice there and like what I think of this offense. I just don't think he'll have the volume to get there.
Got it.
Yeah.
There's not much else in terms of target competition.
That's true, but I think with the addition of Kenneth Walker, sorry to cut you off, is going to make them almost like lull their way into bad offensive choices.
Maybe, yeah. Maybe they might run it more. I just keep looking. I'm like, who else is the target's going to go to? Because like, what is it? Tyquan Thornton? Is that it? That's the only other target competition. It's not very good. Juju's still there. Kelsey,
over the hill. Yeah.
I don't know. Nothing of that offense scares me other than the fact that it's obviously Patrick Mahomes. But from the rest of the offense, it's not very good. The
way you said Tyquan Thornton, I just hear that name and I just get a little tingle in my gut. I'm just like, cannot wait to bet his inverse correlation when the season comes on. Just hope he gets one deep bomb in a game. All right, next take I have is we had the two teams that were first in the AFC and the NFC were the Seahawks and the Broncos. And I'm going to say that neither the Seahawks nor the Broncos will win their division, and one of them will miss the playoffs.
I think it's a hot take. I like it.
I'll talk a little bit about it here. Broncos got got the good tale of luck in terms of Pythagorean wins. I think they had 3 more Pythagorean wins. They had 3 less Pythagorean wins than actual wins. They got a really good variance. Their defense was incredible. We know defense isn't too sticky year over year. I still think their defense is going to be good. But how good is Bo Nix? Are we going to see the same Bo Nix? Is he going to regress? All those things are a possibility. I think the Broncos got a little lucky. Plus, Chargers look so much better in their division. It's going to be tough for this Broncos team to win their division. And if I had to pick between the two, I think they might miss the playoffs. Seahawks, on the other hand, I think they're still a good team, but I think the loss of Kubiak is going to affect things quite a bit. Part of the thesis last year of why we like that team so much is because Kubiak has history of being good, new offensive coordinator. We don't really have a history from him. So, Seahawks, Broncos, neither will win the division, and one of them will miss the playoffs.
Yeah, the Seahawks could finish 3rd in their division just by way of having the toughest schedule, being the first place team, and like San Fran's defense is healthier. And the Rams are probably still the best team in football, even though they didn't win the division last year.
All right. The next take I have is the NFC South winner will have a winning record. Wait, there's more. And the NFC South will have 2 teams represented in the playoffs. Is that a hot take?
Oh, I'm out on that take. I'm cold on that take. I'm curious who you think they are, and I want to guess you're thinking New Orleans and Carolina.
No, I think that okay. Are you out on the NFC South winner having a winning record?
I think that's possible. But I'm out on the Bucs. I'm totally out on the Bucs. I think the Bucs are one of those dark horse worst record in the league teams. I'm so out on them, and I think Atlanta's a mess. I like their defense and I like part of their offensive weapons, but I just truly think that if Tua is going to be your starter and Penix, I think it's hard to find a ceiling outcome for that team. I think they have a safe floor. They feel like a 7 win team, 6-7 win team at the worst case scenario, but 2 teams with a winning to come to the playoffs. I don't know. I'm out on that take.
All right, well, listen, they only have to get to 9-8 to squeak their way in, whichever teams do that.
Let's figure this out. The NFC North probably has 2. The NFC West probably has 2, maybe 3. The North could have 3. The East might have 2. That's a tough call, my friend.
It's a tough call, but that's why it's a spicy take. I'm only trying to do some spicy takes here. We don't know what's going to happen with injuries too. Obviously, things could get interesting here. E-Colt wants me to rip my spicy take. Wants my take to be, why are the Jags 30-1 to win the Super Bowl? Jags to win the Super Bowl. E-Colt, relax. Enough. He's a 10-unit position on it. Okay, I got 4 more takes here. Some of them a little less spicy than others. I think this one's really spicy. And I don't know if you're going to agree with this one, but I think I just have a strong feeling about this. For the first time in 8 years, okay, a quarterback will win. Will win Offensive Player of the Year, not Comeback Player of the Year. Offensive Player of the Year. I don't know why I wrote Comeback Player of the Year. A quarterback will win Offensive Player of the Year this year.
I think that's freezing cold. I just think it's now become a default. Who's the best running back or receiver in football who we would never consider for MVP?
Okay, that's fair. I just see the voting and the distribution of voting, and quarterbacks have been consistently coming in, getting relatively a few first place votes. We saw Drake May last year get first place votes. We saw Matt Stafford last year get first place votes. The year before, we saw Lamar Jackson get there was 30 first place votes for Derrick Henry. I don't know if this was 2 years ago or 3 years ago, and then 15 first place votes for Lamar Jackson. The votes are there. People still want to vote for quarterbacks to win this award. And I think the quarterback pool, I think people are going to get tired of the MVP conversation. It's just been Lamar Jackson and Josh Allen, and now we're going to throw Drake May into the mix. It's like, there's more quarterbacks in this MVP conversation. Let's get them some representation in some other awards. I think a quarterback will win Comeback Player of the Year, and I wish there was a market on that position to win Offensive Player of the Year.
I wish there was a market and I could book you on it. In fact, maybe Monday I'll be in the office. We'll have a conversation.
All right. I have 3 more to go here. Fernando Mendoza will start less than 8.5 games this season.
Oh, I think you picked a good number. I think he's going to start. I think he's going to start more, but I don't think it's a crazy take. I think. You know what? I'll know better when I know what their bye week looks like. If it's like a week 8, 9 bye week, I think it's right on the money.
True.
But it all depends on how their O-line looks too, because from my perspective, the O-line might again be the worst in football. And I don't know that you want to rush Mendoza behind that O-line right now.
Yeah, no, I think that's a great point there. Mendoza also just like Kubiak, I trust as an offensive mind. I think he can make Fernando Mendoza work in the first year, but I think he has time, and the way that this defense and team is shaping up, they're not making the playoffs. So what is the point of rushing Fernando Mendoza is my logic.
Well, it reminds me of the Eli Manning, Kurt Warner situation where the Giants were not competitive and Warner started. But after like 5 weeks, they're just like, you know what? Let's just see what we got in Eli. Not that they needed to rush him. I think that's the closest correlation of the situation. For the first time, I'm usually the rookie quarterback's going to start. This is the first time I believe Mendoza's not going to be the starter week 1.
All right, let's get to the next one here. This one's really spicy. You can bet this at FanDuel at 55-1. We're gonna look at the quarterback market, the week 1 starting quarterback market. I'm gonna go to the Cleveland Browns, and I'm gonna say Deshaun Watson is not starting week 1 for the Cleveland Browns. I'm gonna say Shedeur Sanders is not starting for the Cleveland Browns. I'm going to say the guy who is actually probably most likely to get cut of all these guys is who's going to start for week 1 for the Cleveland Browns. I'm going to take Dylan Gabriel to start week 1 for the Browns. 55-1 is the price right now. Now, listen, he's more likely to get cut than he is to start for this team. But at 55-1, I absolutely love this simply because Deshaun Watson and Shedeur Sanders are both lazy quarterbacks. They don't like to watch film. They don't work hard in the room. And you're telling me Todd Monken in his first year with this team is going to put his reputation on the line for these quarterbacks who are not willing to watch film, not willing to practice hard, not willing to play hard. I think Dylan Gabriel is actually going to shock people in this shock the coaching staff in this offense. And it's not because of his ability. It's just going to be because of his work ethic. Because both those guys, I think, Shedeur Sanders and Deshaun Watson, are going to be lazy. Plus, it's not like they're outstanding talents. It's not like they're winning themselves over with talent. I think Dylan Gabriel is going to be opening up as the week 1 starter for this Cleveland Browns offense. I texted TA about it. He said, "You're an idiot. Don't do that." I said, "You know what, TA, I'm fading you."
Is there an other market here for when Brandon Sorsby gets picked in the supplemental draft? And listen, if you bet $100, you said 55 to 1.
Yeah, you're gonna win.
If you bet $100 by end of July, you'll have lost your $100 when he's cut by the Cleveland Browns.
Listen, I just don't believe in Shedeur Sanders or Deshaun Watson. Like, I don't see Todd Monken putting his faith in either of these guys. Like, they're just not. The talent isn't there. The work ethic isn't there. At 55 to 1, I think it's a dart throw. Taylor Green's not starting. That's for sure. Like, he's not ready to start in the NFL.
What's his price? I'd be more interested.
80 to 1.
Oh, that's a better bet than
Get the heck.
You said this just a dart throw, which is something Dylan Gabriel cannot do. Is throw.
All right. I got one more here before we close out. We got UFL bets coming in just a second. The Patriots will miss the playoffs after Mike Vrabel gets fired mid-season for all this Diana Rossini, Mike Vrabel distraction. Listen, it's easy to sweep this stuff under the rug when you're winning. But when you're losing, the questions start to come. And if this Patriots team starts losing games early, there'll be questions about Mike Vrabel, there'll be questions about the locker room, and there'll be questions about this team. And Drake May is a great quarterback. But I'm worried about everything else surrounding Drake May, from the offensive line to the receivers, the weapons, to McDaniels, their offensive coordinator, and their defense I don't think is very good. So this is shaping up to be a big regression candidate for me in the New England Patriots. And I think when things go bad for this team with regards to how much of a media circus this might be, I think Mike Vrabel might get fired and this Patriots team might miss the playoffs.
I could not be more out on a take in May. First of all, they signed Elijah Vera Tucker and they drafted Caleb Lomu in the first round. Like, I think their O-line is going to be significantly improved.
Okay.
They signed Romeo Dobbs and they're going to trade for AJ Brown. I think their weapons have gotten better. I am very, and they've got a very soft schedule. Like, barring a Drake May injury, I am out on this take completely. I think the Patriots are more likely to be the one seed this year in the AFC than to miss the playoffs.
Oh, wow. All right. E-Colt's back in the Taylor Green, by the way.
Yes, E-Colt. Yeah, Taylor Green was fantastic. He blew up the combine. He was incredible.
Listen, I'm ripping these takes not because I think they're going to happen, but I think they're against the grain. A lot of these takes are like priced at probably like 80 to 1, 50 to 1. Well, one is literally priced 55 to 1. So I just wanted to have some spicy fun with this. So I'm curious.
You lived up to your name. You brought some genuine takes.
The things I feel most passionately about, though, were the Chiefs, the Seahawks, Broncos, and the NFC South. I think those are the most true to my name takes that
I like the Broncos Seahawks read. I just thought you were in the right church, just the wrong pew. I think the Seahawks is going to be the team more
really
miss the playoffs than the Broncos.
All right. George, before we head out of here, also Chad's complaining about no hockey segment. I'll give you guys a hockey segment to close out the show with 5 minutes left. George, last week we went 2-1. Week before 1-0. We're 6-4, giving out some UFL picks. We got time here. It's a Friday. Let's go a little long. Talk us through the UFL.
Yeah, first game happening tonight, Columbus at St. Louis. If you remember, Jay, we gave out the Battlehawks, I think like plus 850 to win the championship. Mm-hmm. They're second in the standings. They have the best home field advantage. Now the UFL, and I had a conversation with you before about how strange the lines move, like how inefficient the markets are. This line opened at 3 and it got bet up immediately. I grabbed some at open for St. Louis. Then we got the news that finally Luis Perez, who they traded for 2 weeks ago, the Spring King, is finally going to become the starter, which is key because like St. Louis has been the best defense, especially by yards per play, lead the league in sacks, but like dead last in offensive yards per play. So they needed a boost offensively. The line right now at FanDuel is 4.5 minus 120. It's 6 at a lot of other shops. last week I was like, we took advantage of FanDuel being off market. I don't like I make the fair 4.5, so I'm out on this line move. I might consider Columbus at 6, and if you are thinking that way, I don't want a part of that. But that being said, I do like St. Louis to win here, but I think Columbus is a better team than being given credit for.
All right, so Columbus, we're not taking the 4.5 here on FanDuel at plus 100. We're looking for, what do we need, 6.5 if you want?
There's 6 in markets. I haven't decided yet to bet it, but if you're looking Columbus's way, I would look that way. And if you like St. Louis, FanDuel's got best price in market. But right now, I'm
You're
good
off
at
it.
4.5. Yeah.
All right, let's talk the Kings versus the Defenders. 10-point spread here. Pretty massive. Defenders, one of the best teams in the UFL. George, you're the expert here. Let us know about this one.
The line opened 10. It hasn't really had any movement. I make this line closer to 8.5, and I've been thinking about Louisville. I'll tell you why I haven't decided yet. DC has a huge trench advantage, like tied for first in sacks. Louisville gives up the most sacks per game, and right now they have a couple injuries they're dealing with, which I want to see settled, because if they're missing 2 starters on an already bad O-line, I don't want that. Like, Louisville's a perfectly average team. They just have a lot of the high variant stuff go against them. Like, they're 2-4 with a -3 point differential, and a lot of the stats are fairly average. It just, they've been on the wrong end of like sacks and turnovers. I'm tempted to grab the 10. I just don't know. And I think it's going to close smaller than that. I want to see some clarity on the O-line before I make that decision. So right now, not a play for me, but I lean towards Louisville's direction.
Who's reporting these injuries, George? How do you find out about these things?
So UFL, so it's not like the NFL. There's beat reporters, and I follow like every beat reporter. Like on my Twitter, you have I have lists by division. The UFL actually does it on their site.
Okay.
I also have a Twitter list, and you can, if you go to my my Twitter, you can find my UFL list. Get some of the front line news, but truly you have to dig to find all kinds of news. It's not like NFL season where it's just all thrown at you. And you see how I post stuff in Forward Progress as it's happening. UFL's, you got to dig a lot longer, but they do have daily injury reports where you can get all that information, practice reports.
All right, Renegades, Stallions, Renegades -130, -1.5 on the spread. Any bet in this one here?
So this line opened, Birmingham short favorite, almost flipped immediately, and it's kind of been stuck right now at Dallas 1.5 in market. Dallas started off 3-0, looked like the best team in football. Last 3 weeks, offense stuck in the mud, 3rd most sacks given up. What's lucky for them is Birmingham doesn't generate a pass rush. Birmingham has actually been the worst defense by a lot, giving up nearly 6 yards per play and like 36 yards per drive. It feels like teams are constantly on their side of the field. What Dorian Thompson-Robinson has done for Birmingham, though, he's given them a lift. And Justin Ross, you and I had a conversation about, we thought he could have been a thing with the Chiefs. He's 26 years old. He's starting to emerge as one of the better wide receivers in the XFL. I wouldn't be surprised if an NFL team gave him a look. I actually like the over here, 45.5 at FanDuel. There are some 46.5s in market. I think both teams are capable of putting up points, and two of the worst defenses. So I expect a lot of points here.
All right, over 45.5. Obviously, we're going to take that at FanDuel versus the 46.5s that are out there. Over 45.5 -110. The Dallas Renegades, Birmingham Stallions game. And if a team wants a burner, Justin Ross could be a guy. Maybe a cardio guy, but who knows? Orlando Storm, Houston Gamblers. Last game here for the UFL this weekend. Storm, -210 favorites, -4.5 on the spread. Talk us through this game.
So do you remember when Orlando was 4-0 and I'm like, this is not one of the best teams.
Yeah.
And we faded them 2 weeks in a row, and they've been a favorite of this same range, and they've lost outright both times. I'm going to go back to the well one more time. I think Orlando is overrated. Houston cut Talia Tagovailoa to his brother. I never liked him. I think Hunter Deckers and Nolan Henderson still remain better quarterback options for them. Houston is so strange. Like, they have a -60 point differential, being 2-4. So they've been like blown out twice. But they got blown out by like Dallas when Dallas was a wagon in week 1. And they got blown out by DC, who actually is the best team in football. Their underlying metrics actually hasn't been bad. I want to continue fading Orlando here. right now it's at FanDuel. You can get Houston plus 4.5 minus 120. In market, there's some 3.5s and 4s. And Jason, I think there's a shot this thing closes at 3, but more likely 3.5. So I like Houston plus 4.5 minus 120.
Plus 4.5 minus 120. Would you take a little stab at the plus 175 there on the money line?
Yes, I would. I would. I wish we had done that the last 2 weeks. I truly think Orlando has been a bit of a fraud, and I'm glad as their competition has been upped that they're starting to lose games here.
All right, that wraps up the UFL segment. Quick recap there. The two bets we like are the Renegades and Stallions over 5.5 minus 110, Gamblers plus 4.5 minus 120 or plus 175. George, appreciate you joining the show. You can check out more of George's stuff on Twitter at George Tsilfidis, or head over to the Forward Progress YouTube channel and check out the Offensive Rookie of the Year, Defensive Rookie of the Year debate and bets they talked about this past week.
We should talk about that. You want to talk about influence? We called the top 2 favorites frauds, Jeremiah Love and Fernando Mendoza. Both their prices have gone up. Market agreed with us, and Jordan Tyson and Carnell Tate both got steamed up. Akeem Messidor, some of the stuff we gave out has steamed really well. So still some good value in that video. Please go back and rewatch it. True influence in the market. In May, we're moving Rookie of the Year markets, my friend.
Exactly. But you guys missed on the best guy, best bet on the board. Jadarian Price still there, plus 850. Go get it. Go get it. I don't care how poor my takes were on the Seahawks, how down I was on the Seahawks. Someone's got to get accounting stats in that running back room, and it damn sure isn't Emmanuel Wilson. I'll tell you that much. George, appreciate you joining the show. We'll chat soon.
Thank you, my friend. Have a great weekend.
Great stuff there from George. As always, chat, appreciate you guys for tuning in. We're not done yet. You guys asked for some hockey talk. We'll give you some hockey talk to close out the show. This one is confirmed by Moretto. This one is backed by Moretto. So it's a mini Edgework segment. We're calling it here. We're going to take the Montreal Canadiens at plus 110. Yes, I am going back to the well. Yes, I lost on them last time. But plus 110, when essentially nothing has changed in this game other than these two teams playing for the first time, I think that's wrong. I think that's just very wrong. Nothing from that first game that I saw warranted a move like this towards the Sabres. I thought the Sabres were exactly who they thought they were. The Canadiens didn't look as good, but I still think they're going to be exactly who they think they are. I think a lot of the struggle from them came through adapting. We talked about this with so many, adapting to playing a new team, a different style of hockey than they were playing against in round 1 against Tampa Bay, a lot tighter of a team versus Buffalo Sabres team who plays very loose and fast. I love the Montreal Canadiens here, plus 110. I don't think that this move is deserved. They're at minus 132 right now. I just think that's too far. That's too far. It should be a lot closer. Montreal Canadiens should be closer to around plus 100 for the Canadiens. Plus 110. I absolutely love it. Habs money line. Go Habs, go. Pains me to say, but hey, I like to win, and we're going to win here tonight. Shout out to Connor. Shout out to whoever else was asking in the chat for hockey stuff. Connor, I got you. Appreciate you guys tuning in to close out the show. Just want to give you a quick shout out to George. Quick shout out to Kirk. Quick shout out to Andrew for coming on, sharing their knowledge with us. Shout out to Jacob for filling in for Mike behind the boards. Shout out to you guys for tuning in all the way here. Before you head out to his favorite, smash the like button. If you're listening on audio form, rate and review 5 stars, and that's it. That wraps up today's show. I'm your host, Jace Cooper. This has been the Friday, May 8th edition of the Hammer Daily here on the Hammer Bang Network, presented by our good friends over at FanDuel. We'll see you guys right here tomorrow or next week. Oops.